May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will be true. You walk
Brains and love. They are a source of joy and happiness. Flowering, beautiful women. What can a nation do without them? Believe it or not, every day, hundreds of women are dying. Yes, our mothers, sisters, and daughters are lost to death while giving birth. Not a natural death, but one caused by system failure.
The level of maternal child mortality and morbidity in Nigeria is very high. Many factors are responsible for these high rates, but the bane and the most worrisome of all is the inept and cruel attitude of many of the health workers during service delivery. The abuse, disrespect, and violation of human rights of patients in Nigeria, particularly during maternity care, is one that has become of a greater concern to many.
Women are not treated properly. Their rights are not respected. The report we receive and all that bear witness to that.
To me, it's the grace of God that I'm alive today, and I give all thanks to Him.
Somebody was having a cough. They gave the man drug meant for cancer patients, and the man got blind.
I held her hands, but I could not hold her life. And as I rejected, that was when my sorrow started. I could not save her life, I could not fight for her. And that was how she breathed her last. Nothing I did could have stopped her. Nothing I did could have worked.
I saw my wife lying on the bed. I touched her, I said, Rosito. Rosito. She was lifeless. She was lifeless. I started crying. I started shouting. I said, what is this? I said, what kind of country are we? As I was crying, they chased me out of the place. They said, why should I be here by this time? Yes. In fact, I believe the National Hospital, they don't even know their work. They don't know themselves.
For about 8 years now, I have been paraplegic due to spinal cord injury I sustained in a road traffic accident. That I can't walk is the least of my problems. I have neurogenic pain that makes it feel as if someone is cutting my back with razor blade and dropping some lemon juices on it. I have issues with my bladder. I can't pee by myself, nor poo by myself. And other major complications, including a traumatic brain injury that I'm still recovering from. This was as a result of the poor care that I received in the Nigerian healthcare system.
According to the World Health Organization 2014 report, Nigeria's maternal mortality rate is 560 deaths per 100,000 live births, and Nigeria accounts for 14% of global maternal death. Poverty, poor hygiene, inadequate access to medical treatment, absence of trained birth attendants, unequipped health facilities, and many more are causes of these deaths. But then also, the attitude of the health workers cannot be exempted.
They just left me there until my husband closed from work. He came down, he went and asked them why they've not come to check me. They're like, they timed me. Okay, I timed that woman. I said 4 hours. He said, but she's bleeding. If you time her 4 hours and she's bleeding, won't you check her? The nurses, they're just like, okay, please go. We'll come and check her. We know what we are doing. They just spoke to him anyhow.
It's like all these government hospital. They did that. All this general hospital, you went there, nobody even care for you. Before they even attend to you, they'll be shouting because I don't see that our regulatory system, they are not working.
You go to hospital, doctor will embarrass you, nurses will embarrass you, abuse you, talk rubbish. Sometime you go, the person where they talk to you, you senior and they still abuse you.
They beat you, saying, open your legs. That must stop. Do not be intimidated.
The purpose of this documentary is to profile some cases of violation of patients' rights, particularly during obstetrics and gynecological care to women. In 2015, the National Human Rights Commission conducted a research study on human rights and maternal mortality in the 6 area councils of the FCT, Abuja, Nigeria. 96 hospitals, 51 primary healthcare institutions, 43 private and government healthcare institutions, and 2 tertiary healthcare institutions were visited in the research study. It was aimed at evaluating the level of availability, affordability, and accessibility of obstetric and gynecological care to women.
Wulakanta mu bacin mu Hausawa ka san wasu ba sa jin turanci idan an je ana wulakanta mu idan mun je mun kai fam din mu a gan mu ga likita sai a kore mu ba kwa jan tunda ba kwa jin turanci ku fita sai wasu su shigo kaga wannan ma wulakanci ne ya kamata gwamnati ta taimaka mana da a daina mana wannan wulakanci da ake mana a matsayin mu na mu musulmi wasu ba sa jan Hausa a cikin mu sai a kore mu ana wulakanta mu da yaran mu alhali mun kai laluran mu ne muna da right din kuma da gwamnati za ta taimaka mana tunda mu ma 'yan Najeriya ne 'yan ƙasa ne.
The respondents were 567 pregnant women and 483 health workers. From the interaction with these number of pregnant women at the health facilities visited in the FCT, the attitude of the health workers is not commendable. Over 50% rated the attitude of health workers as poor.
The care our women are receiving, particularly for maternity care and delivery, is one that falls below standards. Attitude of our health workers shouting on them when they need a high level care, they don't get it all the time.
Of the many cases of death of patients due to negligence, Mrs. Rose Ahunaya stands out as the most regrettable and unfortunate. Mr. and Mrs. Ahunaya, for 6 years after marriage, could not conceive of a child. At the 6th year, she became pregnant. Sadly, after the delivery of her twin babies at a private healthcare center, Mrs. Rose Ahunaya developed a postpartum complication. She was referred and transferred to the National Hospital for emergency obstetrics care.
On 27th of May 2016, I lost my wife. 27th of May 2016 is a day I never wish to see again or remember. My wife had delivery through cesarean operation at Amana Medical Center. Later on, the doctor called me that this woman needs an intensive care. So he said he's going to refer us to Gariki Hospital or National Hospital. When we got to Gariki Hospital, we were told there was no bed. So quickly we carried my wife with the ambulance to National Hospital. Our first point of call was at the emergency and accident unit. So on getting to that place, the ladies we met at the reception of the ICU department, we told them there is an emergency, and we brought out the letter, the referral letter. They said they don't admit that way, that is not how they admit. We are begging them. Immediately we said, "Madam, please." She said, "I've told you people," just throw her face off. Nobody cared to look at the reference letter. I decided to rush down to the accident and the emergency again. And after much shouting, they now came out. One woman directed me, I should go that place and get a card. On getting to the point where I would get a card, the man there was not on seat. I saw a security man standing beside. I said, where is this man? He said he's not on seat, I should wait for him. I said, what kind of a hospital is this? He came down. When he came down, he searched his table for a card, searched the cubicle. There was no card. He saw a guy coming. I said, okay. He climbed up. I don't know whether it's their store or something. That was where he went and brought a card and gave me to fill my wife's information. After filling the information, he now entered into the computer. He printed out something and now asked me to go and pay in account. When I got to the cash office, I made the payment, 2,000 naira cash. They printed 2 receipts for me. Immediately I was about going back to the point where I got the card. The accountant called me, but I should go to accountant 1 and confirm the payment. When he signed, he said I should now go and give I should go to the point where I got the card. I should go and meet the man to give him a copy of the receipt. On getting to that place, as we are rushing down, I think someone it's like they said the woman has died though. The thing pricked my ear, but I didn't believe it's my wife because the way we are running. I now rushed to the doctor. I said, "Doctor, please, I'm the husband. I've not offended you in any way. Neither do I need you for anywhere. If anybody has offended you, I'm not the one. Please help save my wife." He said, "Where is she?" And now told us they've taken her into the ICU unit. When we rushed there, I saw my wife lying on the bed, and they put oxygen on her nose. And I watched close. I touched her. I said, "Rosito, Rosito." She was lifeless. She was lifeless. I started crying.
But delays and more delays in admitting her led to her death. Bottlenecks in the records and registration processes. Failed by angels.
As the spokesperson of National Hospital, as the head of communication and public affairs, my relationship is both with the staff of National Hospital and also the patients and patient relations and other visitors to National Hospital. We've been having cases of few patient and relations suing the hospital to court, and our legal team has been following up this from time to time. Some of these are in the court, and I also let you know that at the end of it all, we are being free from any implication or any indictment from the court of what is happening. There was very few cases of the reporting one or two to the medical and data council for proper investigation. We've resolved at the management level, even with the new chief medical director, Dr. Jab Momo, that we will not reject any patients whatsoever. We will stabilize the patients. There are some people that will bring dead patients, rush into the and we have 24 hours medical personnel, doctors, nurses, everybody, they are all there. We check you to make sure you are okay. You are still breathing, you are still okay. But if not, after the checks, if that patient is brought in dead, just move the patient to the mortuary.
Following the abysmal attitude of the health workers, some women resort to and sometimes prefer self-medication, traditional birth attendants, patent medicine stores, native doctors and prayer houses during pregnancy, to hospitals and health centers. Not many women live to tell their stories like Gloria Adegbe, whose case was one that remnants of the placenta was forgotten in her stomach.
4 p.m. in the evening, I gave birth to the little Misha Ehi. To the glory of God, she survived the birth process, and the nurse asked me to come down from the bed to take my bath. I tried to come down from the labor bed, but I couldn't because of the pain I was feeling inside me. What I didn't feel in the first child, I was feeling it, and I told the nurse, "Ma, I don't think this is normal. I can't stand. I can't come down." She said, "Madam, try. This is not your first child." I walked to the bathroom to shower. While in the bathroom, I felt some movement inside me. I screamed. I called her again. I said, "Madam, come. It's not normal. There's something still in my stomach." Or the kids too. It's the baby too. She said, "Madam, please, it's uterus. Now I'm cleaning this baby. I'm doing this. Please, it's nothing. It will contrast, but it's your uterus that is contrasting." I said, "Stop." Until they discharged me on the 27th of November. I came home. The pain continued. The pain became so severe that I couldn't sit to breastfeed my child again. So one woman came in the evening and advised that I should take hot, that it usually relieves and helps one to discharge blood kind of a lot. So I did that. So on a Friday morning, I went to the bathroom to wee. As soon as I squirt, I discovered that something was coming out of me, flesh. I now screamed. My mom was with me, and it was painful kind of. So I quickly dressed up and we drove to the hospital there. The doctor screamed and asked them to take me to the labor room fast. They took me to the labor room and they placed me, and they started telling me how lucky I was, that if it had decayed inside my womb, it would have led to removing my womb completely, and that would have been the end of my childbearing on earth, or I would have died.
This work also seeks to educate and provide answers to lingering questions. In the event their rights are violated, what are the local regulatory frameworks they can report to?
Disrespectful and abusive care in healthcare facilities. They can report it to either the Medical and Dental Council or the Nursing and Midwifery Council or any regulatory body or the management of the health center, or they can even approach human rights NGOs to help them.
The provisions in the Constitution, the fundamental rights in Chapter 4 of the Constitution And you recall Section 14 of the Constitution that ensures that no Nigerian is discriminated against on the basis of his sex, religion, political leaning, ethnicity, whatever. It makes ample provisions for that. But aside from that, there is the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, which makes provision for regulation of the medical and dental professions in Nigeria. That's as concerns doctors and dentists. There is the Nursing and Midwifery Council Act that regulates the profession of nursing and midwifery. There's the Pharmacies Council Act that regulates the profession of pharmacists, and several other acts that regulate the professions in the healthcare. And recently, the National Health Act 2014 also makes provision for the healthcare delivery system. It also makes provisions for patients' rights.
Can they seek redress? How can the rural poor hold the system accountable? Are there legal pro bono services to help the rural poor?
First of all, as lawyers, we have a duty to provide what you call, as you are rightly said, pro bono service. Pro bono means that the lawyer works for free and takes no fee for the work that they've done. Now, of course, the focus group for such action is usually the indigent, persons like you said, people in the rural areas, and not just rural areas, even in the city, who are unable to afford the fees to pay for the services of a lawyer to ventilate their issues or to pursue or enforce their rights. But the Nigerian Bar Association, particularly last year, under the presidency of this current NBA president, Augustine Alege, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, launched what is called the National Pro Bono Program. Now, by virtue of this program, what this means is that not only will the NBA encourage its members to engage in pro bono service, the NBA will regulate what it terms pro bono service.
Mrs. Evelyn Nwejike experienced her water breaking at a time of national strike of the health workers. Her family, as a result, resorted to taking her to a local maternity center, where she gave birth to her baby, but developed complications.
She normally goes to the Maraba Medical Center. The Maraba Medical Centers were on strike, so she couldn't utilize their facility at that period. And that was when the husband recommended this community PHC.
Her case was also one where pieces of placenta was left in her womb after delivery. She suffered severe infections, including peritonitis, was operated on at Gariki General Hospital, suffered complications after surgery, and then needed intensive care. But the hospital refused to transfer her to intensive care unless the family made a deposit of 500,000 naira.
On close to 12 midnight of the 1st of January 2015. Where do I get such money from? On a bank holiday. He just walked out on me without further comments. I waited, nothing was happening, and then my sister started gasping for air. And then we asked for oxygen. They finally brought the oxygen, a rusted can. There was no oxygen in it. And then they struggled with it. After a while, they brought another one, and then they struggled to fix it on her. The nurse on duty could not fix it properly. And then I was like, there were splashes all over the place. And they were like, bring water, mix it. Others in their hospital bed were shouting, Happy New Year. And my sister was fighting for her last breath. And that was how I held her hands. But I could not hold her life. And as they are rejoicing, that was when my sorrow started. I could not save her life. I could not fight for her. And that was how she breathed her last. Nothing I did could have stopped. Nothing I did could have worked.
And the health caregivers watched her die. She died, counting as one of the victims of the failing health system in Nigeria. Failed by angels. The right to health is a fundamental human right, and it is vital to every human being. The universal right of childbearing women stipulates that every woman has the right to be free from harm and ill treatment. The question then is, have the healthcare givers in Nigeria adhered to these rights of patients? How aware are the citizens of their rights?
People don't even know that they have the right to their health.
What you find most Nigerians do is to say, well, it is the will of God. Even if we fight, it doesn't bring the child back.
Do members of the public complain about infractions in the health sector? All this talk we hear about pregnant women who are in labor, who are in the course of delivery, and who are maltreated or abused. Do they report? It is a rhetoric question. And if you have not complained, how would one know that an infraction has been suffered?
A woman's chance of dying from pregnancy and childbirth in Nigeria is 1 in 13. The coverage and quality of healthcare services in Nigeria continue to fail women and children. Many of these deaths can be prevented if only all pregnant women have access to adequate antenatal care, skilled attendant at childbirth, emergency obstetric care when pregnancy-related complications arise.
Nigeria has the 4th highest maternal mortality ratio in Africa, behind Sierra Leone, Central African Republic, and Chad. But we are worse than South Sudan, Somalia, Liberia, Burundi. So we are the 4th worst out of 54 African countries.
Making available human resource for health in the front line, because the major reason why women die during pregnancy and from pregnancy and pregnancy-related causes is not unconnected with the availability of human resource for health in the front line, the skilled attendants during delivery.
Pregnancy is not equal to death. Save our mothers now. So the day we go to Asoro, we'll wear this our Christmas cloth, and we'll be singing this slogan that we are not going to die. We are going to save our mothers' life. They need to help us. So if you agree, let's say save our mother's life. I will take our. When you make mistake and you acknowledge the mistake, and we can look at the circumstances under the mistake happens, and then we can now put things in place to make sure that the mistake can be reduced or eliminated completely over time. But when there's even no acknowledgement, no investigation, and things are hidden, then when you hide something, it festers. More and more people will continue to die. You know, so we're not advocating for a system that is completely intolerant of mistakes.
Now, justice, I must quickly add, is not that when you prosecute someone for medical negligence or you seek damages for such, is not to say that the person is seeking to replace that child or that life with money. The point being pursued is to call attention to this action and to say that it is wrong, and to have that person who is responsible removed from the theater.
The key issue would be to encourage members of the public to complain, not to die in silence, not to sweep infractions in the health sector under the carpet, because it seems to me that many infractions in the health sector are swept under the carpet. We would be glad that complaints are made.
Do you know that every woman, including you, has the right of information, especially informed consent and refusal, and respect for your choices and preferences? No health worker should force you or do things to you without your knowledge and consent. Most importantly, every woman has the right to privacy and confidentiality. Nobody, I mean especially your healthcare provider, should expose you or divulge of your personal information. Mrs. Danjuma woke up in the morning with a painful stomach ache. Her husband, Mr. John Danjuma, hurriedly took her to Asokoro General Hospital.
I actually saw her. I saw when they were taking her to hospital. I saw she walked by herself into her husband's car and she was taken to the hospital.
I spend a lot of money because anything there I have to buy. Because all the tests, they say we should do all the tests. We do all the tests, finish. The result, I collected the result of the test, so give the nurses. They carry the result, go open the file, put it under the file. I stay. Small time, I go call nurse to come. Nurse say, they tell me to give them 6,000. I refuse to give them 6,000 to give her oxygen. And so we stay throughout the around 5. So they say, she need blood, emergency blood. I say, what type of thing be this? Since I brought this test, the first day where we go, they say they don't close. The next day I have to go and do all the tests where they require. They give me time that I should come by 2 to collect all these test results. I bring them all that time where they give me. So come reach now, they say they need blood. So that means as they bring the test result, nobody care with the thing because I doesn't know anybody, I doesn't have money, nothing. Reaching there, nothing. As I reach there, I just see them, they just repress my wife. They repress her, whether to revive again. Life has already gone. Life has already gone. They press. They started screaming. And then go take care of us. And then they cry. Everybody they cry.
I was surprised to learn that she's dead.
Mrs. Danjuma left behind her husband and 4 beautiful young children. Her case may not be one during maternity care, but it is one of absolute negligence and incompetence. Failed by angels.
Could you believe that a quack, somebody who never attended any medical school, was employed by the Federal Ministry of Health? He worked with them for over 10 years, contested an election, participated in a lot of committees, participated in carrying out operation in a theater. Yet we have NMA, Nigerian Medical Association. What are they doing?
Now, in the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, it specifies the functions of the body called Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, established by that council. One of the functions is that the council, by that act, one of the functions is that the council shall determine the standards of knowledge and skill. It also provides for establishing a register of persons who are entitled to practice as medical practitioners or dental surgeons. So if your name is not in that register, you cannot legally practice. You do that, it is an offense. And there's a provision in the law for a jail term of up to 5 years. In the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act. In the Criminal Code Act, there's a provision that a person who does not have the appropriate skills, that is not a registered medical practitioner or dental surgeon, if he treats a human being and that leads to loss of life or limb, that person will be charged with manslaughter.
Every hour, patients' rights are violated and women disrespected, especially during childbirth. A few professionals are of the opinion that if health caregivers we're able to deliver healthcare services with more empathy, incidences of death will reduce significantly.
The greatest need of the world right now is empathy. And in medical science and in our medical, for our medical healthcare providers, empathy is the #1 competence for you to achieve patient compliance and quick recovery in the case of people who have even diseases that are terminal. You know, we all have to become empathetic and give people that opportunity to be able to realize that you feel their pains. Put yourself in their shoes. Empathy is seeing things from the other person's point of view.
Nobody should humiliate or verbally abuse you. Do not be intimidated. Every woman has the right to equality, freedom from discrimination, and equitable care. Nobody has the power to discriminate against you because of something they do not like about you. Never forget this. You, I mean every woman, you have a right to be treated with dignity and respect. Demand for it. This requires the collective efforts of all stakeholders in ensuring that this trend of abusive and disrespectful healthcare is nipped in the bud. More health workers, yes, more trained health workers. This means more professional midwives, more nurses and doctors. We need health workers with competence and human empathy. Our leaders promised us good health care. We must make them live to the promise by implementing the National Health Act.